Thank you all. I'm happy to be here tonight, and I'm thankful for the invitation. I'm actually grateful to be here tonight that I made it because someone decided to close exit 37 and try to find my way around, but we did. As I was introduced, my name is Bill Campbell. I'm running for the Secretary of State. I've been city clerk in Woburn since 1997. My occupation there is that I run the elections. I'm the clerk to the city council, and I also do those traditional city clerk jobs such as vital statistics, birth, marriage, death records. The Secretary of State's office is similar in that way, in that it's a multi-responsibility office. It oversees elections, securities, regulations, public records, the archives, the registry of deeds. Probably the one that affects us most, and the one that I've gained the most experience, is elections. In many ways, we're voting the way we voted in the late 1800s. And what I would like to do, if when elected, somebody told me to stop saying if, when elected, is I'd like to streamline our election laws, get rid of the ones that are no longer needed, that create unnecessary burdens, and streamline them. I'm going to give you an example. How many people vote with the optical scan machines? We fill in the circle or do the, anybody? All right. And you go to a checkout table. So you go in, you check in, you give your name and address, you vote, and you start all over again. You got to give your name and address and then check out. Clerks have been fighting to eliminate the checkout table for many years, and we can't get support from the current Secretary of State to eliminate that. Bills have been pending. If I could get rid of the checkout table in my community, I would save 40% of my election payroll.
Wow.
I also wouldn't have the difficulty finding as many poll workers. Right now I have 160, so I'm going to have more qualified people available to work at the polls. So far the solutions to finding more qualified poll workers from Beacon Hill has been to allow 16 and 17-year-olds to work at the polls. And as much as I'd like 16 and 17-year-olds to be interested in the system, I don't think it's a good idea to have a 16 or 17-year-old checking voters in. The other solution they've had is that I could hire people from other communities to come into my community to work at the polls. Well, if I'm having problems finding people, Mary Ellen Landon in Winchester's having problems, and Jane Shue in Burlington's having problems, so that's not a solution either. The solution is to eliminate it. The other big issue that's really prompted me to seek higher office is that the Secretary supports election day registration, which means you can walk into a polling place, register to vote, and vote. Some people say to me, well, that sounds convenient, that sounds like a good idea. And I said, think about it. You're going to have at least two people sitting at a table to register, because everything you do in elections is in twos. It's not in twos because it's convenient, it's in twos because the system is set up believing that we cheat. So you're going to have two people sitting at a table to take in voters. They're going to have to check IDs. They can't sit there for 13 hours a day, so you're probably going to need four, a morning team and an afternoon team. They're going to be paid. On a statewide election, it's going to cost us over $1 million every election day. $1 million for the primary, $1 million for the final, just for that. For somebody who can't go down to their clerk's office and register to vote, or can't get a mail-in registration card and register to vote. They said, well, 20 days is too long. That's just too long for people to register to vote. Then let's change it to 10. Let's change it to 7. But I don't think we should have people registering to vote on Election Day. Election Day is for voting, not for registering to vote. The pushback I get on that is, well, fraud's not really an issue. Just 2 weeks ago in Maine, which has Election Day registration, a man voted in one town, registered to vote, and went to the next town where he also owned property and registered to vote. Here's another kicker. You have to show your ID. They say, they're going to show ID, so that's okay. Well, did you know in Massachusetts an acceptable form of ID at the polls is a rent receipt from your landlord on his letterhead? It's not good enough for me. I have 1 minute left. Two other issues. It's not all about elections. Securities division is a big issue too. The Secretary has made a lot of hay about going after the bad guy and collecting fines and imposing fines on security regulators. Two things. If you read his press releases, you click on his website and try to find out what happened, there's a 62-page complaint. I'm an attorney and I have a hard time understanding it, so I'm not sure how he's educating us with that. The other thing is, one of his big problems is he's going after people who are unregistered securities dealers. If you go on his webpage to find out if someone's a registered security deal with his office, it says please call our office during regular hours or send in a request for production of documents. Again, not acceptable. We should be able to go on and find out if someone's a registered security dealer if it's an issue. My time is ending. One of my biggest challenges right now is getting 5,000 signatures in less than 60 days. I'll be set up on the side, if I may, at the end of the night. If you haven't signed my papers, I'd appreciate it. And I really need your help, and I ask for your vote on Election Day. Thank you.